Atomic battery to power.
Turbines of speed.
Hey, Bat fans, welcome to episode 14 of Holy Podcast Batman, a show where we honor the Dark Knight by analyzing the lightest of Dark Knights. My name is Steve, and with me, my faithful ward.
Justin.
And how are you, old chum?
Okay. We just watched...
I don't know what the fuck we just watched.
A humdinger of an episode. Let's just go with that.
It's, well, I'm going to say this is becoming my favorite thing. This is one of those episodes where it's like, he's not a one-off, but he's a made-up villain for the show, and they're starting to become my favorite thing. They're just...
It's because it's something different. Yeah. Something where... Because we've seen the Riddler a bunch of times, not only on this show, but throughout
in
the
general,
Joker, Catwoman, Penguin. We've seen them throughout history of Batman. But people like this, characters like this, you don't see this.
This comes out of left field, and I got to tell you, when I guess it might even be DC Comics sort of going, you got to be a little careful with the Joker, you got to be careful with Catwoman. I doubt it, but maybe that's possible. But in these scenarios, like the villain today is just like, I don't care. You invented this. Go have fun because, with this villain, they made Batman into a dumbass. But we'll get to that when we get to the episode. But first, if you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the fantastic King Tut.
King Tut. Steve Martin? Anybody?
No.
That's a reference from the 80s.
Yeah. Still not sure how you know about it. So anyway, so King Tut. Not much to say here. Created for the TV series. His first appearance in comics was in a fantastic series that I have mentioned repeatedly over the course of this show, Batman Confidential, in issue 26 from April 2009. So yeah, it took him a long time to get back in the comics, but as you pointed out, which I'm pretty sure is the actual point, they didn't need him. They have Maxi Zeus, who's essentially, even though it's like he's a Greek god, it's basically the same idea, just Egyptian or Greek, same difference.
It's all Greek to them.
Yeah, but the stranger thing about this, the other fact I have about King Tut is he technically appeared in the Batman Brave and the Bold animated series, but...
That makes sense.
But Fox, 20th Century Fox, this is before they had a deal with DC Comics, actually owned the name King Tut, so he was just called Pharaoh.
Okay.
But he was obviously very much the same character.
I like that show.
Oh, it's a great show.
That is this.
Yeah.
Batman Brave and the Bold is this.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's this because it actually takes itself a little more seriously.
Not much,
but a little bit. But
like Aquaman on that show.
Oh, Aquaman! Oh my God, we could do a whole episode on just how brilliant that show is alone. Especially the final episode. That's seriously heartbreaking. It's brilliant, but also hilarious because of. Well, I don't want to get onto it, but seriously, the whole episode is great because Batmite just. Ripping the whole thing apart because it's not Batman animated series. Brilliant.
Watch Brave and the Bold.
Seriously, do it. It's awesome. So, King Tut was played by the phenomenal, I'm going to butcher his last name, but Victor Buono. Buono. Buono.
Buono,
yeah. Born February 3rd, 1938 in San Diego, California. Died January 1st, 1982 in Apple Valley, California. He started acting in his teens, worked up until pretty much the day he died.
As most of these character actors do.
Pretty much. He basically, he had, like, everything. He was in, much like every actor of this time period, he was in everything. But he was nominated for Best Supporting Oscar for a movie called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I'm not going to say anything about this movie, but if you haven't seen it, seriously, go watch it. It is fucked up.
Is he good in it?
I don't remember him in it. I do not remember him in the
nominated,
slightest.
So somebody remembered him.
But I'm sure, mind you, I haven't seen it in many years, so I don't remember for sure. But because they've actually done a handful of versions of this.
Okay.
Like there's the original, which is black and white. The original is great. There was also an updated version, which was a little more twisted because they could get away with a little more. But yeah, dark ass movie. Check it out. It's fucked up. Weirdly enough, I don't usually point this out, but I had to just because it's kind of cool. Very much openly gay.
Okay.
Lived with several partners over time.
Back here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good for him, because in the 60s...
60s and 70s, that was not okay, so good on him for that. He was in this one. I thought was really, really cool. He was in a pilot for an unsold Dick Tracy show in 1967.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Wouldn't it have been amazing? He was supposed to be a villain in it.
The idea of a Dick Tracy show like this,
along the lines of this and the Green Hornet.
Please,
yeah, like how amazing would that have been? But yeah, I don't know how the hell that never happened.
They need to remake Dick Tracy.
They really do.
I really like that movie from the 90s.
Hey man, I remember going to see it in theaters, man. Yeah, I'm that old. He was a comedian who released a bunch of comedy albums.
Really?
I had no idea. And he basically, as you can imagine, especially when you see this, he was known...
Hammed up.
Well, actually, that was a quote that I wanted to point out. I didn't even see this quote until just now, but he did say he loved playing King Tut on the show because it let him do one thing that you're always told never to do as an actor: overact. So he absolutely loved it, apparently. And he was known, surprise, surprise, for playing characters much older than he was. Because, like, he looks like he's about, 56 or something like that in the show, and he died at, 52, so... Obviously, he could not have been as old as he was, but he was known for that kind of thing, so he had, an older-looking face, but that was mainly what he's known for. But, yeah, I got nothing else. Yeah, it was mostly about the actor, because there is nothing on King Tut, because he was not loved.
And that's probably not going to be the first... I mean, it might be the first character, but it certainly won't be the last to... You're like, I got nothing.
Yeah, next week's episode. Actually, no, that's not true, because there's actually something really cool about our next episode. Well, I don't want to spoil it yet. We'll get to that at the end of the episode, but there's a comic book that I would like to search out before we record that one, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my hands on it before then, but still, very cool.
Right on.
Yes.
So we get to the actual episode, part 1 and part 2. Part 1!
Yes.
The Curse of Tut. An ex-Yale scholar believes himself to be the great king, claiming Gotham as his kingdom by planting a sphinx in the park. Bruce Wayne plans to trap Tut. But before you can say mummy, yes it does,
wow.
In quote, mummy,
wow,
he's a fall guy.
So, these episodes are written by Robert C. Dennis and Earl Barrett, sorry, I can't read my own writing, and directed by Charles R. Rondeau.
So, as mentioned, it does start with beautiful Gotham City Park, a beautiful Gotham City Park.
Of course,
with
and
people
just lounging around picnicking. One very strange one where the woman was 11 and the guy was 20. I'm hoping there's mother and son, but it didn't kind of look that way.
They're having a
creepy.
Picnic, which is creepy either way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, none of that is good. I'm sorry.
Creepy either way you play it, man.
Yeah.
And could be a gigolo situation.
Could be, very well could be. There's a cop hanging out.
Doing nothing, like all other GCPD police officers.
Scoping out the local poon.
I mean,
what else could he really be doing there? Because he doesn't actually work.
He's not working.
No, so there you go.
Then, of course, a giant sphinx appears.
Well, it's Gotham.
With a lady's voice saying, King Tut will rise and take over Gotham, and...
So, y'all gonna die and shit.
Basically.
Yeah.
So this, of course, gets the ire of the GCPD.
Sort of.
Commissioner Gordon and Chief
sorry.
O'Hara.
It gets the mild interest of the GCPD. Yeah. Let's face it, they don't have much of a,
Who they chalk it up as a publicity stunt.
Yeah, that is their move. It's just like, well, I will give it to... I think it's Chief O'Hara who says it first. It was just like, nah, this might be a serious thing, and it might have one or the other. I can't remember who did it. Was just sort of like, nah, it's just a publicity stunt, and you're just sort of going,
it's O'Hara. That sounds like an O'Hara.
Yeah, that
move.
might be O'Hara's move. Yeah, because immediately he's just like, that's a publicity stunt, and then he somehow convinces Gordon, and Gordon goes, I think you're right, and I'm like, wait, motherfucker, this is Gotham.
So, Wayne. Let's call Wayne Manor because Wayne's on the trustee board, whatever. Mm-hmm. Wayne is about to leave with Dick and Harriet, and they're about to go to the museum to go see the new Egyptian exhibit.
This actually brought up an interesting point. Did they allow Alfred to come with them?
Oh, no.
No? So Alfred is just a hired help and, seriously, fuck you guys?
Yeah. Aunt Harriet's not the help. She just lives there.
But she does all the work.
She makes cookies and milk.
That's more than Alfred does. I've got a list of Alfred's duties in my book here.
He drove the Batmobile in this episode.
He did, but that wasn't his duty. He wanted to do it. He had a look of a little kid later on.
Because he's like, I get to do something other than dust.
Yeah, but that's all he does is
William
fucking dust.
Shakespeare bust.
His entire job is dusting. Ah,
It's a professional duster.
yes.
Now, we bring up a good point because, as we say, how can anyone not know that
Oh,
it's Batman
God,
or
this whole thing.
Bruce Wayne?
This captured our imagination for a while.
It did, because they call up Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
and Wayne's there. And obviously, you call up Wayne Manor, you're going to get Alfred first.
Mm-hmm. So Alfred says the exact phrase of, "One moment, sir," which he says
Every
at
time
other points,
you call the bat phone.
So there you go. Flag number one. Now, if we had real cops, they would immediately go, "I'm sorry, what?"
Same guy.
Yeah. But you had a point of all British guys may sound alike to these people. So we move on.
So there you go. So you move on
Yeah.
past that one.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne gets on the phone.
And he says, "Yes, Commissioner." Which is exactly what Batman says.
In the same inflection.
Yeah. So I understand that they're not good at their job. But that's not even being a detective.
They're
That's
just-
having ears.
They're letting their anger for this whole publicity stunt.
I get. Well, that was true. I might have to give them the benefit of the doubt with that because yeah, he immediately jumped on him.
Oh, he jumped
Yeah.
down his throat.
Yeah, he was
Mr.
just like-
Wayne, how dare you?
Yeah,
With
basically,
this publicity
yeah.
stunt.
Like if it was in,
And
if
he's
it-
like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like if
Space?
this-
What?
if this were in modern times, basically he would have picked up the phone and went, "Hey, listen, asshole, I don't like this bullshit you're pulling in the park." Like, it was very aggressive. He was about ready to reach through the phone and start slapping a bitch. So, Bruce is just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Commissioner. And then, of course...
That immediately shuts them down. They're like, oh shit, it's a crime.
Well, fuck, it's a problem. We should do something. I know.
Let's
the
call
only thing we know
Batman.
how to do. Yeah, we'll call the guy in the stupid costume.
So then, of course, you call up Batman, and then you get Alfred again,
Yeah.
who you literally spoke to not 10 minutes ago.
10 minutes? Not 1 minute ago. Because, yeah, their whole conversation took about 30 seconds, and trust me, they didn't take long before they were calling Batman. So, yeah. So then you get Alfred going, "One moment, sir," which is the exact same fucking sound you heard a minute ago.
They're not going to be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Same British guy.
So, Alfred gets a little clever with this one. Puts a book on a tray, and walks it out to Bruce.
Because you got to get around Aunt Harriet.
But, here's the genius. He picked a book that was red. So he handed it to Bruce, and Bruce picks it up and goes, "Red, huh, Alfred?" Oh, and then he makes up some excuse about having to read over this book for the exhibit, because he's on the trustee board, don't you know? Because they've said it 3 times now. And then he just immediately runs into that. That, I will say, is fucking clever. Considering the rest of this episode, this has no business being in here.
That's code for bat phone.
Yeah,
Red.
because it's red. That's far too clever for
so
this
Aunt Harriet,
episode.
we can't go. And then she's like, but Bruce,
But-
he's like, listen, it's been around for thousands of years. I'm sure it can hang on for a little bit longer.
But
So they boogie out,
Mm-hmm.
go to GCPD. They explain the situation, and they explain a situation far more exciting than what we got in this episode.
Yep, because
Of the last time they tussled with King Tut, there was a warehouse fire, and they thought he died.
yeah,
I'm like,
can we watch that episode?
can we? Is that what? Fire not in the budget, boys?
Apparently not, because that's not how they wanted to play this one out. And like, damn, I would have liked that episode. That would have been awesome.
So
But
of course we cut to the aforementioned King Tut and his lair
yeah.
with his henchmen, his vizier, and all that, and
Let's-
his harem of ladies.
I was gonna say, who cares about the henchman? Seriously, he's just got wall to wall women. Not a bad way to live, it seems. Yeah. So that was a thing.
That was a thing.
That was
Where we were like, what's her job? There's a woman just literally sitting on a pillow, not doing anything but sitting on a pillow. We're like, is that her job?
As we found out through the rest of the episodes. Yep.
Yeah.
That's her job.
Her job is to
There
literally
were-
sit on a pillow.
There were 2 to 3 women whose job it was to just lie on a pillow. There was a couple fangirls. You know, they were doing the fanning because Egyptians. It's what they did. But yeah, 2 chicks hanging out on pillows. That was their job.
There you go.
How do you get that job?
You get, what, being the girl? Or
Yeah. Well, either one, really.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be the fangirl.
Well, no, I meant like either the chick lying on the pillow or being the guy who has the chicks.
Well, apparently getting hit on the head. and thinking that you're a Egyptian god.
All right. So when we're done with this episode, I'm gonna give you a hammer.
You hit me,
Yeah.
and we'll